Hello, I'm Actual Chatterteeth, and this is just going to be a mix of either a tutorial or a rundown of just the current route that we use for 0x. Now, to briefly describe what 0x is, it differs between consoles. For Xbox, it's 0x, GameCube, it'll be 0B, and on the PlayStation 2, it will be 0 Square. And it is essentially beating SpongeBob SquarePants Battle for Bikini Bottom without pressing that button a single time. And although the routes that we've gone through and the most current route are on a Google Doc that I will link below, some things are just hard to describe in different, just 30-second clips or in text. So I thought I'd just make this, have timestamps down below to different segments, at least how I divide them, and just go through the route and show different tricks or level routes that you would do in this. So with that, when you make I'm just going to turn off Rumble real quick. While doing a run, you do need to save your game because you need save game in the beginning. So I'm just going to be starting that here. So the reason that a lot of levels have different routes is due to the fact that we don't get the cruise bubble. We would have to use the X, B, or square button, which I'm just going to call it the bubble spin, so it's universal between consoles, but we would have to use the bubble spin button to hit RoboPat 3 times as Sandy, so we just can't do that. And considering we can beat it without it, we might as well. So getting into JF is going to be the same as every other category. Just get 50, well, every other full game category. Get 50 shiny objects, open the closet, get the spatula, whatever. One thing to note that I'm unsure about the PS2 version, but I do know that on the Xbox version and the GameCube version, the B button is what's used to cancel text. So in theory, on the GameCube version, you would have to mash through text with the A button, where I'm using 360, so you'll be seeing me press B to just cancel text. So outside of the pineapple, we're just going to disable Hans and go into JF. This is going to be our only visit to Jellyfish Fields. And the only reason we come here is because A, Cow Bungee's a free spat, and B, grabbing Cow Bungee with Hans disabled lets us warp to the hub with save game, which will actually let us get more spatulas. The reason we need more let me silence my phone. The reason that we do just this spat and do save game is because without doing this, the only spatulas we can get without buying are Top of the Pineapple, Annoy Squidward, SpongeBob's Closet, and this spatula. We can't get the spat at the top of the hill because there's a button right at the end with a gate and a Duplicatotron, which we can only hit with the bubble spin. So the sock over there, it is possible to make this jump, but for now what I do is just when I come up, I go through this way to get the sock, which although is slower than just jumping over and getting it, it's a lot more consistent. Then from here what I do, since you can like get the slide down here and get the double jump, I do that. But if you do end up missing the slide down, you could just possibly fall, and then you'd have to respawn relatively close to Cow Bungee and jump down and get the spatula. So once we get the spatula, rewarping to rewarping to Bikini Bottom and doing the Walk of Shame, which for those unaware is just walking around like 2 or 3 giant invisible walls that try to prevent us from avoiding Robo Sandy. Which the fact that these exist, even though Hans is a thing, is, strange, but whatever. And so the path I generally do is going to these buildings. So the first one, and then the second identical one, and just going straight until this road ends. Then when the road ends, or how I'm parallel with it now, we're able to just continue walking toward those rocks in the distance, which I'll lean my camera toward. There's a second invisible wall, but assuming you go in this way, you're not really going to run into it. Just now follow these rocks down, and... Oh, pardon me. There we go. Follow these rocks down, and you'll be in Hub 2. So, there are many different options once you're here. The option that I'm going to show is getting to Hub 3 without getting top of the chum bucket and doing SpongeBob's Dream. Hello, cat. But another option is just getting Murmulair entrance if you don't want to do anything in Dream. Getting Murmulair entrance will allow you to go into downtown, which we go into downtown after getting these spatulas anyway. Going into downtown early would just mean you have to go to Goo Lagoon before Bowl, which isn't much of a penalty, but it is not preferred. So the reason... So once we're here, I'll just talk to Bubble Buddy, get him out of the way. So the reason I don't get top of the chum bucket is just, well, I'm bad personally. Like, I can't consistently get roll buck to the point where I get to the top of the chum bucket. So I just get inside of the chum bucket, wall jump in the bucket, and then I get top of the chum bucket later when I do Infestation, the Krusty Krab. So to showcase how I get over to the other side, it's the same as roll buck. We double jump to do SpongeBall storage. You want to land with your stick neutral so that the landing animation overrides the you turning into SpongeBall animation. We're going to stay to like the left, very left of this phone booth, because if we get in it, we will be prompted with that box, which, I mean, I know to close in time, but it can ruin your SpongeBall storage and you have to get it again. So once you can hold an up right here, and there'll be many more roll buck tutorials out there that will explain it better, but what I do is just hold up right here, hold up left a little bit, and hold up right again. And once I get a little bit of distance up on that wall, I double jump and then slam. I really should have activated a checkpoint over there to showcase that. So you might say, why slam? Like, that would just make us follow the ground faster. And this is a great time to show it. When you slam out of a jump, you'll see it puts you forward a little bit. That is our way of gaining extra distance in the air, since we don't have the bubble spin. Of course, only a SpongeBob. Patrick's really doesn't do that, since he moves during it. So what I do, since I don't get top of the chum bucket now, is I go over here and get wall jump in the bucket. Which you can either get with the bash, or by wall jumping up. So from here... Oh, let me actually explain that. We can't do Ambush in the Tree Dome or Infestation of the Krusty Krab yet, due to the fact that we simply just don't have an attack yet that can destroy Duplicatotrons. We have the Slam, which can destroy certain robots, but we don't have anything that can destroy Duplicatotrons, which will come soon when we get Bull. But yeah, now we can enter Dream. And Dream, other than having to do walk around or one frame forbidden, is generally the same. The main things we're going to do are oil skip, slide skip, forbidden skip, sorry, pause there just to explain, and Sandy's Dream. However, there is also the case where we do Squid's Dream, which I will show the fast-ish route for that. But as well for that, I'll be linking a timestamp to Outrageous Josh's Legacy Any Percent world record, where he does it, and it's a lot cleaner than how I will end up doing it. But yeah, so first off, it doesn't matter the order that you do Forbidden or Oil Skip. However, it does matter that you do Slide Skip last, since after Slide Skip we're going to fall down to Squid's Dream and do that, and then reload Super Bounce to get to Sandy's Dream. So doing oil skip. Now, if you want to know the setup I use, I'm just lining up SpongeBob's shadow parallel with a certain rock and turning my camera. There's definitely many better and different oil skip setups. That's just the one I use, if you're interested. So let me get this. If I don't get it this try, I'll pause and continue the video when I actually do get it. Um, but yeah, Sandy's Dream is just going to be relatively the same. Since, again, the only thing you lose as Sandy is her main attack. A thing to note right now is that you can't do Swingers Ahoy once you're inside Sandy's Dream. Because the duplicate... Well, okay. RTA, you can't do Swingers Ahoy, like, super fast, because you need to rely on you lassoing a robot and it flying into the Duplicatotron and exploding it, which I haven't consistently ever gotten RTA. So there might be a consistent way to do it, but as of the making of this, I don't have anything. So for slide skip, there's of course right side and left side. I'm going to be doing left side bash, which I'm on Xbox, so my setup's a bit different, but I just wait till this oil guy gives me a chance to get on the slide. I jump at this flower, I double jump, and I bash. And slam. Well, I missed it, I guess. Oop. But yeah, that's what I do for that. I'll pause once I... well, you know what, now. I was gonna say I'll see you back when I get it, but I'm assuming I'll get it next try. And if I don't, then I'll see you on top of Squid's house. Radical. I was scuffed. Please don't watch that. Please look better the way I first did it, but messed it up. But yeah, from here we go into Squid's Dream, which you can do it all casually. There is just one skip with that trumpet right in the beginning, like is what is done with Cruise Boost. Just jump at a different spot. This is where I said if I get it horrible enough, I'll link to Outrageous Josh's Legacy Any % run. The only issue is that he uses spin, which can seem to make it easier because you get more distance. Which we could use slam, but it makes it much more of a dedication. So what you want to do is, you're going to get on this note and jump toward that right side of the trumpet's mouthpiece. You're basically you don't want to land on right facing towards you. You want to land on right facing perpendicular to you to the right. Because that, excuse me, that exhibits the bouncy surface that is on the top of the trumpet. So I'll see if I get it this time. So I didn't get it. Yeah. Kind of weird, but getting this fast enough is faster than doing that whole roundabout over there. Which, if you want to do the whole roundabout, you can do it. You might have to use slam to extend a few jumps, but there's not many moving platforms, so it's not too awful. But yeah. But to explain it for later, let me see. There's not a lot of socks we really get in. I could have just went left to get that. There's not a lot of socks that we generally get in Dream. Actually, I believe we get none. Just because there are no, like, super, super fast socks that we can get. Granted, yeah, we don't get tons and tons of fast socks. If I recall, we get a total of 40 socks. And some of them are only fast because of relative to what strats we do. But yeah, that's that. So I got the bounce there, but I got stuck under. You can go back and get the bounce again and curve back up, but I'll see you back when I'm done top of the trumpet just to show the rest of Squid's Dream. I've taken way too long to get the trick that I'm like, oh yeah, you know, whatever. But yeah, it's hard, but we only do it in the beginning of the run, so it's like, it's fine resetting to it. But now that we are up here, here's, you know, the trumpet we've been jumping on. Or if you go all the way around, which, honestly, depending on console, like if you're doing this on PS2 and you're not confident with this trumpet jump like 50% of the time, I'd say just go around just because of loads alone. But yeah, from here we do have to platform through the rest of Squidward's Dream without the bubble wand. Which, some of that, especially for the section coming up shortly where we have to jump on the orange music notes while they're moving, it is just a thing where you would much rather prefer to have spin, but you can work with slam. of course, what I recommend to do. Oh, now I have to get back up there again. I have returned, and I'd like to think that that was much more of a showing of patience as a virtue than anything. But yeah, as I tried to do, you do want to use your slam to extend really how far you can move SpongeBob, because some of these just kind of require spin. I messed that up a bit, but if these notes are on a bad cycle, you can slam right before hitting that note, and, you know, it'll give you a little more time since the note hasn't been activated yet. And I usually wait for this one down here, but again, you know, it's however you want to do it. The only issue is that there's no way, well, there's no way for you to take damage in this area, but not fall into the void. So if you have Hans disabled like you would because you just did save game, you kind of have to reload. Yeah, after this spatula and squid stream, we reload to super bounce. And just do sandy nut. So I will say this like one last time, but it will apply for like a bunch of other tricks that I do. I'll explain it how I see it, or how I understand it, but if it's a trick that's more commonly used, there will be better explanations out there by better people. But for Sandy Nut, this checkpoint up there you have to activate. And you just kind of jump near this area where this spot is, and then let yourself die to one of these manure trucks, and you'll get it. Which I know there is a more specific spot you can jump to, but skydive. I don't know the exact spot, so I kind of just flail around like an idiot and make sure I hit every point I can. So after Sandy's Dream, you will want to reload to Bikini Bottom, top of the pineapple. In alternate, you can go out of your way in the beginning after you get save game to talk to Mr. Krabs, which will give you the Mr. Krabs warp. So in that case, you know, you're over Dream, you can just warp to Krabs from here. But in this case, I'm just warping to top of the pineapple. So, yeah, in Squid's house, just 10 jumps, get the spatula. The reason that we did that much of Dream, and that's going to be our only visit to Dream, but the reason we did that much of Dream is because A, they're quick spatulas we can get, and B, it lets us get 15 spatulas without having to enter Goo Lagoon, without the Bubble Bowl, which we want to do just because we can go to Goo Lagoon and get SBI. But yeah, it's just Squid's house, and top of the pineapple. You can either bash the buttons or climb up. I will say for this last jump, not this, from the balloons over to the pineapple, this is kind of tight if you don't use slam or spin, because you will slide off. So most of the time, I wait for this balloon platform to float to the top, and then I slam at the end just for good measure. But it is possible to do without slam. I didn't even get the thing. I'm just bad. But yeah, from there we enter downtown. Downtown we're going to be doing in 2 trips. The reasons for that is that Wheels is just too fast to give up, just for how much we have to do. By the way, we're going to start doing Tiki's Go Boom, so I'm just going to walk toward there. And 2, because we need to pay for Sea Needle, so we need to pay for Sea Needle, and we need an attack for Lighthouse. So we just have to wait till after Goo Lagoon, so we have all those things. Sadly, this is kind of just bog standard. There's not a lot different you can do here outside of casual that's fast. There's a little bit. Thank you. Most you can do is like stuff like that. Oh, there we go. You used to be able to come here with bowl and hit those, but that's fine. So after that, you know, we got some shinies that we don't use yet. Got a spatula. I'll just walk back. I'm assuming if you're on a faster console, warping back might be faster. But... So I'm gonna walk over here onto this stack of tikis and get a double jump to let you grab up here and get this wheel. Then from here, this wooden piece is kind of weirdly solid. So if we just double jump and make sure to hug it a little bit at the end, we will get our jumps back. At this point, we'll have 4 health, so we can kind of just mess that up. Get this wheel and jump onto this lamp, since a lot of things are solid here. So from here, normally you would jump over this way, but we actually can't make that double jump. Well, no, we can't make that double jump, but we don't want to go toward Sea Needle, which is right across over there. So what we're going to do instead is actually go over this way. And grab the sponge bowl. So this arrow in particular is really, like, it has a definite ridge around it. Especially on this part of the point over here. So what we're going to do is get some momentum going into it and try to jump on the top of this door frame. By canceling our sponge ball while we're in midair. I mean... now that we're up here, I'm keeping jumping just to stay here, but, you know. Once we're up here, jump over this fence and talk to Gary right here. So talking to Gary will raise these platforms and actually unlock the warp for Learn Sandy's moves. So from here, we can turn into Sandy. And how you do this is just preference. I'm going to get the wheel right now because I want to, but you can also get that wheel later when you go to Sea Needle. But if you don't want to get that wheel, just jump over here and lasso this. So from here, we're going to hover over to this building where a little sock is hiding. Hover over to this wheel, since we are going to be getting Sea Needle wheels and Lighthouse wheel later. Jump on this cannon to get a little extra height, and double jump hover over to this spatula. Yeah, now we're going to be entering rooftops. Now, we are going to get both the spatulas and rooftops, though the way we get Swing Along Sandy is a bit, strange.
Hey, Larry, what's shaking?
So we're just going to continue along. We can't particularly... What am I trying to say? We can't get it the normal way we do. By the way, just lasso him. It says use X button, but you don't really have to. You can also just get a hover high enough from that swinger to jump up here, but no reason to. So this Swing Along Sandy, which we usually get with like double jump spinning as SpongeBob, we can't get right now just because we can't spin. And that jump is very hard to make. Technically you can make it without the spin, but it requires the cruise boost. Or the cruise bubble in the bubble bowl, but we don't get the cruise bubble, so we have to do it a bit of a different way. But it's a way that lets us get it early, so it helps avoiding Gulagoon. So if you know older Sandy rooftops, it's going to look very familiar. The only difference is right here, we aren't going to grab a wheel over to the side. So once we're here, we're just going to slide across and double jump hover over to here and go get the spatula over there. Turning into SpongeBob before getting the spatula, just so we're him. So we're not going to be entering Lighthouse right now. However, we do want to be hitting this button to grab the box and to grab the sock behind the lighthouse. So after we get this sock, we're going to re-warp to rooftops, which with either one of these two warps, which will spawn us as Sandy. And since we just grabbed that box, we're going to want to go into it. So we're going to be going to the box right behind Larry. So this lets us get Sandy up here, which at first looks like it does nothing. However, it does let us hover back and go through this level backwards. So I'll let him shoot. Now, since we have hands disabled, we can do a lot in terms of what buildings we can hover on. So we're just going to be navigating through this area and getting this wheel over here that we skipped earlier. As well as getting swing along spatula, which we can do by double jump gliding off of a building. If you miss the double jump glide, since it's not super precise, like you can get it with or without a ledge grab, but if you do end up missing it, just hop in the box and navigate yourself up here again. But you can take your time to like line up with the edge. Make sure to hold A for your jumps so that you get the max height out of them. So with getting the spatula, we now have 15. So we can just re-warp to Bikini Bottom and head into Poseidon. At this point, we'll be getting our 4th sock, I believe, from Patrick. No, 5th sock from Patrick. Which will also give us the warp to Patrick, which we will use later to get to Goo Lagoon fast. And doing Robo Sandy. Robo Sandy is going to be done the same way it's done in any other non-cheat category. Just without randomly spinning for the fun of it.
Looks like the robot's left itself vulnerable. Great barrier.
So I'll explain the manips I do, even though there are many that you can do, but just so I don't have to like pause and cut back. So for this first phase, what I do is lead Sandy out from the middle. If she sees that she's in the middle, she will jump to the middle. So making sure she walks toward the middle makes her jump as soon as possible. You can just do that 3 times. Slam when she lands. And that's that first phase. For these manips, what I like to do is get really close to Sandy and then just mash down on my D-pad to try to make her run toward one of the nearer coils. It doesn't work 100% of the time, depending on the situation that you're in, but it works relatively consistent for me, so I just do it.
Losing its head. What a shocking takedown by Patrick.
That time didn't go too favorably, but what are you gonna do? And then I bring her over here after she jumps so that her helmet goes toward me. So I can just pick it up here and throw it at the scoreboard.
Head move by Patrick.
And then SpongeBob will be much more the same, just instead of leading her to this top part, I'll be leading her to the middle. So that I can get the hits on her.
Wow, I've never seen such an electrifying
Also, when you're SpongeBob and she's close enough to the middle, she, no matter what, does jump in the middle instead of jumping to where SpongeBob is.
Like a spring breeze.
No, far too close.
Sling! The old clothesline move.
Oh, I don't know what I was thinking. Yeah. Nice.
What an uppercut!
Oh my gosh, I'm that bad. Let's go.
Nice move by SpongeBob. just about over.
So I guess I'll give a quick rundown of what's happening after Robo Sandy. We're going to be talking to Plankton because he's right outside Robo Sandy.
Slide move.
And then entering Tree Dome, doing Tree Dome, after which we're going to be warping to Patrick so we can enter Goo Lagoon. We enter Goo Lagoon as fast as possible so that we can get the shiny objects that we need. The issue with not being able to do 7 spatulas in Jellyfish Fields is that we kind of are a lot of spatulas low considering where we are in the game, so opening levels is kind of difficult.
Hey, Plankton.
So making sure to get those spatulas and shiny objects for things like Sea Needle and Sand Mountain Slides and Murmelaire Clams as soon as we can is super vital. So Tree Dome is... I just need to make sure that hit because I've been missing that recently. Tree Dome is much more the same. Just it is going to be all with Bowl because that's all we really have. No, I'm not gonna style. Wanted to style, did not style. But yeah, from here we can just warp down to Patrick, which will put us next to Goo Lagoon. So entering here, there's 2 main options, or I guess technically 3, depending on how you look at it. But the 2 main options are either doing... Oh, no, 3 main options are either doing Early Towers Glide, Sponge Glide plus Early Towers, or doing Casual Connect the Towers on top of doing Sponge Glide. So what I do personally is I do Sponge Glide, and then I do Early Towers. But that's just because I'm not the greatest at Early Towers Glide. The setup... Oh, we also get 1 frame sock here. Just gonna do that. Sometimes when I just don't get it fast enough, I just alternate A and Y so that I jump or bash. So I do here, this is at least the setup I do, but it's not really consistent, so I definitely recommend finding someone else's if you plan to do Sponge Glide plus Early Towers. I line my right foot up with this, with the outer edge of the bash symbol. Then I make this post right here, line up with the bus stop in the back, like that, so that you can see the post of the bus stop. And then double jump, since we can't spin, which will put me back, and then you can double jump again. So then when getting over here for Early Towers, I just make sure to jump around here a good amount to make sure that my checkpoint is definitely, like my last place stood, when I say checkpoint, is definitely somewhere over here. I don't remember the exact location you want to set it, but I just over here so that you get enough speed from the damage. And once you're confident with that, you can double jump and make sure to jump fast so that you don't reset your point, and mash Y once you hit the goo to come over here. From here, kill that hammer with your bowl, or if you did Early Towers Glide, just kill him early. Then from here, I'll be honest, I kind of just do what looks about right. I don't have a certain setup for this. Just kind of a feel thing. Nope. It's interesting that the one I usually don't have trouble on is the one that gives me trouble. That's not gonna make it. There will, as I said earlier, with literally every other trick, be tutorials out there for both Early Towers Glide and Sponge Glide, and of course this returning for Early Towers. But this is just a quick run through of my route. I've literally never gotten that ledge grab there before. That's awesome. I got it twice. Alright, well, if I mess that up, I just have to get Sponge Glide again. So I guess I'll be back once I'm over there. Alright, so once we're back over here, just kind of a double jump and then slam to get the... Or double jump, take damage, slam to get the Sponge Glide here. Awesome. There we go. So this will be bringing us into Gulagoon Pier, which we'll be entering as SpongeBob. So right when we enter, we're actually going to be entering the box and changing into Patrick so that we can do the first part of Clear the Bumper Boats, and so that we can be Patrick for SBA.
Sorry.
So since we can't belly slam to hit those tikis, what I'll be doing here is just making sure to kill this glove or G-Love and throwing the melon onto the second lowest platform so that we can get a good walk off. Making sure to line up with it and just eating it. And from here we're going to go back into the box now that we're Patrick. Go clean out the bumper boat area and continue along. Which I guess one of the gloves got hit by a bumper boat, so that's pretty good. But yeah, usually I slam the glove and then throw the hammers at either the next glove or the other hammer. So coming around this way, we're going to make sure to grab this sock right up here. So once we get over here, we want to slam this hammer and throw it at this guy, and then slam to kill the fodders. And so what I do 2 Tiki 30? Yeah, 2 Tiki 30. So I'll at least say what I use for that. Which setup I use, I think, is from Shift's any percent PB. I don't actually remember. I was basically just like, someone was like, hey, what's a good way to do SBA? And they're like, do this. And I was like, okay. I definitely know it's one of Shift's PBs. I don't know if it's his current one, though. Or at least at the time of this recording. I don't know if it's his current one. But yeah, we're gonna get these 2 tikis over here. In the case that you break one, let me actually just do that real quick. Not break it, but show it to them. In the case that you break one, you're gonna have to try to fall from that lamppost and actually grab that boom tiki off the top. Failure to doing that like I just did, just make sure to activate this checkpoint and then die in the goo so you can get the other tikis. But yeah, once we're over here, I make sure that I'm straight with this by like walking into it and making sure I don't move over to the side. Then walk back a little bit and try to line myself up with the middle part. Specifically, I want to try to make it so that my legs have this arrow like directly in the middle of them. So, walking forward slowly, you'll see I got that baby there. And I don't want to see the arrow's tip, but I do want to see the arrow's legs. So like that and I hold forward and throw. Oh, well, that was cool. Yeah, I guess a way to prevent that is not holding forward, but I'd usually just hold forward, so it's like, yeah. If this gets stuck, just throw him until he gets caught in a bunch of things. There we go, little man. Mess-ups aren't too bad as long as the tiki doesn't break. Can't see the tip, but we're there. Throw the tiki on into that 30, and take the other tiki and chuck them in there. There is a little bit of room for error when it comes to being slightly left or slightly right. So you want to ledge grab straight into this middle part, and just press the bowl. Don't really charge it, just press it. So now the bowl will be stuck in there, generating a bunch of shinies. So while that's happening, we're going to go on a little quest. Starting off with this sock over here. After that, we're going to go get the tower bungee spatula, which, while climbing up the flags, it will be... Ooh, that's not good. I think I have to reset up SBA. Yeah, so I'll be right back after I reset it up. That was just kind of a blunder on my part. What I was going to say is while climbing the tower, or climbing up the flags for the tower, SBA will stop for a bit, but once you're close enough again, it'll continue. But yeah, I'll be back once I'm back near the tower. So just because while resetting up SBA, I was put in the position where I have to do this, I did throw the Thunder Tiki off. I just want to show, when you get another Stone Tiki from the top, you can't fall down here and try to grab, or else you just slam. So you have to do like a quick turnaround on the top of this Tiki. There we go. But yeah, back to seeing you back when tower happens. And I yeet. Alright, so we're back here. SBA stopped. That's just because I'm going over here to start the flag climb. You can start from the other flags and then jump to here, but I don't like doing that. I know you can also pay for the clam, but I don't know. I guess I just don't because I need to wait for the shinies anyway. Okay. Then from up here is tower climb. Just climbing up the flags. I'm doing a double jump ledge grab. So SBA normally shouldn't stop here. That's just because I guess the ball fell out and I have to go throw it back in. But that's no big issue for me right now. Yeah. So once you're up here. So if you're on GameCube, okay, if you're on Xbox, then you can just press B to quit, but on GameCube it'll be B to quit. What you want to do is actually go over here to this wood. If you chip yourself on it while going up, as you saw, you take damage there. So you're actually going to kill yourself after getting the spatula. I won't do that just because we're right here, but on GameCube, you would just kill yourself after getting the spatula. However, do know that you would have to wait around until your shinies get to around, I think the number is 4660 is what you want your shiny no. 42,600 is what you want. No. What am I saying? 46,600 shiny objects is what you'll want for this. But yeah, I'm gonna go throw that ball back in and then come right back here. But yeah, once you get to that shiny amount, or at least somewhere near it, like, I'm at 44,000, so I'm fine with just doing this. I'm gonna go on this slide and get the ice skating spat. Which after getting past these tikis, we can just double jump down here and get the spatula. So after we get this, we're going to be reloading to clean out the bumper boats, which will immediately give us the spatula and then let us go into caves. So caves, we're going to do a little bit of schmooving in. We need to get 3 socks in caves. And so, first we're going to be getting the spatula. Now, if you die in this, we're going to be ice skating to get the sock all the way to the left, which you can see near that fodder. And just going backwards in caves. So dying in this section will put you in the middle where that fodder is, if you hit that checkpoint. Thankfully, I didn't that time. Which, if you do hit that checkpoint and you do have to respawn there, then you'll just have to reload to the beginning of caves and turn into Patrick. It's vital that you're Patrick when doing this, because Patrick has just a higher jump than SpongeBob. So after waiting for the tide to get low, get that sock. Unsure where exactly the checkpoint is here, but make sure you get the checkpoint and then just die. So the reason we want to die is because then we'll be on high tide for this. We're going to want this to lean slightly toward this side and then double jump up to that ledge to get our jumps back and jump up. So this is why we need Patrick's higher jumps. And after getting that sock, we can reload to caves and go out of it as SpongeBob. You technically don't need to die to get high tide. You can just wait for it, but it's just safer to get the checkpoint and put yourself on the cycle, which is why I do it. So from here, I'm just gonna die real quick. From here, we're going to be double jumping to that platform to get those socks. So the first one's going to be up here with all these tikis, and the second one's going to be below, which we're going to let ourselves fall and then jump. Once getting the sock, we're going to actually want to go on this fat man over here, get to the edge of him, and jump slam to graze that platform. If you do miss it like I just did, it's just more worth it to walk around the sand wall the whole way. But just to show what it looks like when you get it and what to do afterwards, I'll just get it real quick. So once you're here, you'll still be able to walk on it till it fully goes to the wall. So just make sure to get over to this area. Then you're going to want to double jump and get a ledge grab onto this. So once you're over here, you can get over to this platform with the hammer and jump down to moat. You can either go back, change to Patrick, do tiki stuff, whatever, and pay this clam, or you can stand on this rock and kind of bowl on the line of where the water and the foam meet, which will let you hit the button that you normally have to throw. So the button here is actually, there we go. The button here is actually just invisible, and it becomes visible when you feed the clam. It's just an easy way for Heavy Iron to get around having to either move an object or make it completely not exist. But since it's there, we can still hit it. And then from here, it's just simple platforming over to get the moat spatula. If you do die in this platforming, you do get respawned up at the top of the castle and have to just go around the walls and come back around here as before. Which is a shame, but it's not too bad. So after moat, we're just going to warp to the first spatula, King of the Castle. And from here, we're going to take a sharp left because we want to get this sock on the top. So if you're scared you might mess up something here, it is an idea to try to avoid this Thunder Tiki. Which you can just do by jumping over here, but, you know, getting it or not getting it is whatever. Just getting the sock at the top of the castle, and then doing Casual Kids. So although Casual Kids isn't the fastest, it's definitely not slow in terms of the spatulas that we can get. Outside of the spatulas we already do get. As well as the fact that we get a sock along the way, which is definitely very useful. So that you can just die to always get the same cycle in the beginning, but I did forget to die, so I'm just gonna walk it. Just work with what I have, I guess. So you get the sock on top of that little area, and just jump from the umbrella up here. No. Okay. There we go. So I'll just say this now. After getting all the kids, we'll get the spatula from Puff. And then if you didn't do early towers or early towers glide, you'll be hitting the correct posts, which I don't know the order of, that you'd have to look up. But you'd be hitting the correct buttons to kill the robot over there. But since we already have him killed, we can just warp there, and Larry will award us with his spatula. Boop. And so from here we have 25 spats, so if I recall correctly, we still don't have enough to get in anywhere. What we can do is take a trip to Mr. Krabs and just put in everything that we can right now. So here we'll just be getting 8 spatulas. Can we go into Rock Bottom? Okay, we can go to Rock Bottom, but for now we're just gonna give Mr. Krabs our money. When I say our money, I mean a lot of it.
So that's quality craftsmanship. So that... So that...
So after doing this, we're going to be getting Fountain Sock, entering Shoals, getting TV Sock, and taking our first entrance into Marmalair. Of course, if you already entered Marmalair instead of doing Dream and what that, it's a completely different route. You'd probably just warp to Marmalair entrance and enter a box, but we do this to make sure we get these socks along the way. For TV Socks, kind of scuffed, but I usually just aim for the screen, and it works. Is what I would very much like to say that. Please?
This...
Okay. I'm speechless. Yeah, after TV Sock, enter Murmler. I have no clue what happened with that sock there. That's awesome. From here, we'll just do this room normally. So the one thing with this room that you really can mess up is this jump right here. Which if you do miss it, like, wow, oh no, I'm dead. You can just scale this area, the wall over here, instead of reloading. Which will let you get on this spire and double jump ledge grab over here. These fake bars. Then we can enter the main room. So for all the levels that we'll be visiting, we'll be doing them in just one trip. Except we will return to downtown to get a few things. But other than that... Ooh, come on. We'll be getting this sock. Which you can get by jumping up and bashing. Oh. There we go. After there, we'll just be going toward funnel machines. Feeding the clam either before or after. Ooh, wait a second. I didn't take a few things into account, nothing about the shiny number. So I'd say a safe number then is definitely like 51,000. Thankfully I did get enough, or at least I got enough to the point where any extra shinies will bring me to enough, but 51,000, now thinking about it, is the number you want. That hasn't happened in a while. Yeah, after you reload, the towers you already hit are still hit. So that's always good. And after getting this, just going up and doing spinning towers of power. So we are going to be getting every single spatula in Murmulair, including Prawn, Ballroom, and shutting down the security system. With the only kind of strange button we have to get being this one right here is Patrick, but it's not too much of an issue. Since these buttons are set up differently than the majority of the buttons in the game when it comes to its orientation, we'll just be able to slam on just the tiny little bit that's sticking out, which will still let us hit it. Then from here, I do it till Patrick nods his head for a 5th time, and then jump on that 5th nod. And enter Prawn. So Prawn is a relatively quick fight. The main thing that progresses his attack cycle is just weaving in and out of his beam. So you're going to want to try to be doing that actively while avoiding the hammer bots. Which can be annoying, but as long as you try to stay near a pair of underpants, you should be fine. So I know for Xbox it warps you back at the end of this fight, but for any other version, you know, just walk back to the spatula. And then head out and exit Prawn. So for security tunnel, there are two different ways to get past the first part, and of course, say the second part. One of which, for both the ways, being the casual way. But if you do still want to go up to that little corner that you usually jump at, there is an option. Albeit a tiny bit scuffed. So what we'll be doing is killing this hammer and getting into this corner so Chuck doesn't hit us. Then what we're going to be doing is lining up Chuck so that we're barely in his throw range. And then we're going to be jumping and slamming. Just going to let him throw again. We're going to be running barely into his throw range, lining ourselves up with that wall over there, which I'm actually going to redo that. Lining ourselves with that corner in the wall. And jumping and slamming so that we get a little bit of a slide off and we can get to this corner, since it's very hard to get to without spin. And from here, of course, we can bash up. That was dangerously close to me. Do not get that sock. Just head on and get the spatula. So for ballroom, I know with GameCube you will have to advance through the text, but the fastest way to actually spawn the ball is progressing through Krabs' text. So if you're on a console where you can quit out, the main thing you want to do is progress through his text until he spawns the ball. Throw it at this, fully charge throw it at this, and then roll it at the button. So yeah, all three of the ones you're going to want to do, or at least the two that actually affect the ball, are going to be fully charged ones. Just make sure that the ball still has spacing to get in the cup. And once he passes that middle ring at the top, you can do a full charge. And head over to this pressure plate. So for this last tilty part, you want to make sure to just keep jumping so that you don't actually affect its tilt. You're only going to want to affect the tilt once it gets past that hole, just by standing on the right. Other than that, it does all the tilting itself. But yeah, once you do that, jump over, get the spatula. If you're on Xbox, reload. If you're not, I believe it's faster to walk back, even with GameCube loads. Just get the spatula. Then from here we can continue through and finish off Murmlair. Walk to the right, grab the spatula. And shut down the security system. So from here, we're going to head back to downtown, which we'll do by warping to across the rooftops. So that box that we opened earlier will be helping us here as well. Just so we can get back to that area. So you do have two options for this. You either go into Lighthouse as Sandy and get the sock, but you have to reload. Or you just come down here, change to SpongeBob, and enter Lighthouse. So in Lighthouse, a lot of what we're going to be doing is based on just the Bubble Bowl, because that's the only attack we have. So a lot of what we do is just falling down with the bowl and making sure to hit Duplicatotrons. That I messed up a bit, but that's fine. It's a non-issue. Yeah, hitting those while falling down is vital to everything you do. Just to make sure you have a quick and efficient lighthouse.
Scavenger hunt 2 years running.
It is important to know if you feel that you'll need more health for this fight. You can always get the piece of health before, or get the piece of health after giving Mr. Krabs money. Just by bowling the button and grabbing it. So from here we want to warp to learn Sandy's moves. Then from here we can change to SpongeBob, get the wheel if we haven't already over there, but since we have, we can just jump over here and enter the sea needle. Yeah, and sea needle is just sea needle. Nothing special about it. We don't really need an attack for this area. The only attack I go out of my way to do is to make sure to kill the Chuck, just because I originally played on GameCube when I actually did normal categories of this game. So that Chuck and me are actually the worst enemies in the world. Ooh, okay. Maybe you want to kill that tartar guy too. Just a bit scary. So of course, not being able to attack doesn't mess up any fast cycles. I just don't know how to do any past the first two. So I just make sure to take my time with the Chuck. So yeah, after grabbing the spatula, we have all the wheels, and we can just head on right back to end of the road and collect the wheel spatula from Mrs. Puff. So after here, we're just going to be heading on to top of shoals, and we're going to dip our toes into Mermalair. It's going to be super fun. So Mermalair without the cruise bubble is kind of an interesting thing in terms of the route that we do, because of what socks we have to get and whatnot to stay fast. So starting off, we're going to be running over to this tiki over here and bowling this hovering tiki at the lowest point of its height so we can jump up here. We're going to be getting the attention of the sleepy and then jumping on top of this sign and mashing Y once we get hit. So get on top and then mashing Y so that we go over here. This will bring us to this area very, very early and let us get the end of the trench spatula. Just right over here. So from here, we're actually going to be doing slip sliding away.
Hey, Mr. Krabs.
Cancel that out. Hit the button. So you're going to want to make sure to bowl here just so you get that initial speed. You don't really have to, but it does make it a lot easier. If a bowl causes an explosion, you're gonna want to try to avoid the actual repercussions of the explosion, just because you want to go fast, because you need to. So from here, you're going to take a hard right and grab this sock. Pardon me, 1 second. Alrighty, so after getting the sock on pause, I'm going to continue to walk forward this way. And we're going to be hitting this Duplicatotron so that damage boosts us over to the spatula. You can get it... Ooh, I got a bad damage animation. You can get it without that damage boost, but getting the damage boost does make it easier so that the chuck doesn't hit you, although it opens that harm. So I'll just be right down there once I get the spatula. Yeah, we're back over here. Okay, no, I think I actually need the damage boost now. There we go. So yeah, after getting that sock and the spatula, make sure to kill this guy. Don't really care about the chuck right now. Gonna be heading on over here, killing these guys. So we're gonna go in this elevator twice. First time, we're gonna get this sock over here. And then jump back over to this area. So the second part, we're actually going to be jumping while the elevator's near the end of its elevation so that we get a little bit of a jump boost up to this part over here. If you don't get this jump boost, you can just come over to this pile of sand and jump up. It's no big deal. But yeah, once we're up here, we can jump on top of this purple platform and hit this button. And this button will give us the warp for swinging Sandy. So we're going to be warping to... Oh, sorry, swing along spatula. We're going to be warping to that, which will spawn us as Sandy right in front of the area that we were just at. So we can get that painting and get the swinger and hover over to the spatula. Yeah, once we're there, gonna be going over, make sure to get this sock. I'm gonna make sure to get this checkpoint in case we get hit off. Then we're gonna be heading to this stone tiki. We're gonna be double jumping and gliding over to there. Alternatively, if you're not comfortable with that, you can come over here, SpongeBob, and bowl this button down here. Or actually, I think you can do a jump from the button up with SpongeBob and ledge grab. But if you bowl that button as SpongeBob, a swinger spawns for Sandy, which you can use instead of double jump gliding. So after that, I enter museum. I know on GameCube these laser insta-kill you. So getting the sock right here in the is faster to do on GameCube later, and it's faster on Xbox to do right now. But I use that death for the cycle that I use. I use that death for the cycle that I use, exactly. So I just climb up here. And after this, I jump down and get that sock. Then just let me die. So once I spawn, I make sure to mash A to get the checkpoint text away, so it doesn't eat any A presses. I just double jump glide to catch this swinging tire. Make sure to let go of A near the end so I get that grab. And from here, I double jump glide over to get this sock. And double jump glide over to this swinger. Now in theory I can ledge grab this, but I say to do is wait till it goes through. Then when it comes back through, double jump and glide. You'll be on a good cycle to ledge grab the side. And from here you can grab the painting, sock, spatula, and the other painting. So after that painting, we can warp back to Trench, where we can use Sandy to just get all the collectibles we need. So starting off, we're just going to... You can do Sleepy Skip. Nice. Yeah, as I was saying, you can do Sleepy Skip to get the spatula. How in tarnation do you get there? What I do is I change to Sandy and jump on these rocks to get over here. Then from here I get a glide, get the painting, and jump on these rocks to get the spatula. And then from here, you can jump down to the sock. If you do Sleepy Skip, you're probably going to have to hit the button and roll around. But if you did Sandy, you can double jump, glide, and get in there. And from here, we're going to be grabbing the sock down there and the second to last painting. Which is right over here. After grabbing this, we're going to warp to the third spatula and just walk a little bit and make sure to get that painting. Wait, let me think. So after getting this, you can either reload or walk back. Usually what I do is make sure this guy kills me, but I forgot to do that. So I was just sitting there sucking my thumb, basically. And second. Says I'm forgetting a sock somewhere, but I guess my counts are just a little bit off. So after this, we'll be going to Sand Mountain, which also includes getting top of the shoals.
Sponge wearing 5 pairs of underwear coming through.
So yeah, after up here, we just jump down and enter Sand Mountain.
Sand Mountain.
Oh, one second.
Windward.
So it has occurred to me now that the one sock that I said I was behind with is actually a count problem. I forgot to get the sock in the beginning of Lighthouse, which is just right at the top up there. All you need to do is just climb up this door, climb up to ledge grab here, and grab it. So with that, I can't really warp to Sand Mountain, so we just have to go back to Crabs and go back. So I'll meet you back in Sand Mountain. Alright, back in Sand Mountain. First thing we're going to do is just drop down here and bowl this guy. Then from here, we're going to go up to Shoals. Not Shoals, Ski Lodge. And jump up here. Hit this button. The easiest way to do this is just to get a ledge grab here and bowl it. So I thought, okay. Well, just doing the side swipe. So this button is very finicky when it comes to being hit by the bubble bowl. So at first it was thought the spatula wasn't even a thing you could get. But yeah. So if the ledge grab doesn't want to work for you, like it didn't for me there, just have to aim to it from the side. Get that sock down there. I tried to get the tried to get the lasso thing. It's no issue. Just get the ledge grab up here, Sandy. Grab the swinger right here. And get up to the spatula. And then from here we can just jump down. And warp to top. Nope. Well, warp to top of the lodge. But warping to Frosty Bungee isn't much of an issue. Just increases the walking distance. Make sure you press B twice to not feed the clam. Just increases walking distance to Sand Mountain. So in Sand Mountain, we're going to be playing SpongeBob and getting the socks and whatnot. We're not going to be getting the sandy sock, but that's not too much of an issue. So for the first sock, we have to just take this trail up here, which is a little slower time-wise, but the sock more than makes up for it. Ooh, my double jump got taken. That's not too great. So I guess I need to reload, yeah. Alright, so even though I could go on the bottom, which would be faster, especially since I had to reload, I'm gonna go on the top just so that the timer simulates as if I hadn't fell. So the socks that we don't get in we get all the socks in Sand Mountain besides Sand Mountain is a level, not as just this area. Besides Snowman sock and this one sock is sandy. I'm gonna be taking this trampoline up here so we can hit the button. Then from here, you can do a jump to the left and try to get there, but I hate doing that. So I just take the long way around. But you end the slide with more than enough time, so it's not much of an issue. What I always think is as long as you get to this point before 30 seconds, you're usually fine. Which we do 100% of the time, so we're fine. So what I do is take this left path, then take this middle, and then take the left. Once we're here, I wait for this chuck to hit me while bowling him. Because falling here is not great at all. So your main priority is to just pay attention to that chuck while making sure to destroy the things you need to destroy. Because that chuck could make or break everything. Yeah, after hitting these 2 buttons, we can just get the spatula and go talk with Larry.
Congrats.
So from here, we can warp to top of the lodge instead of walking all the way back to the entrance. Which will let us hover over to this bus stop, change to SpongeBob, and enter Flounder Hill. Flounder Hill, we're only going to be nabbing 1 sock, but it still is useful to do just because of its speed relative to how many spatulas it gives, which is like 2 and a 10th stat. So the path you take in concerns of where the socks are doesn't really matter because the sock is like at the end. But leading up to it, it doesn't particularly matter as long as you're just taking either the path that works for you that's still fast enough or just the fastest path. Which I believe the path I do is the fastest path, though I'm unsure if there is a faster one. Since I'm not up to date on Legacy Hundo Sand Mountain. Granted, they do have to do Snowman, so it's going to be different. But yeah, heading on the end over here, we're going to want to stay in the middle, because on the top middle, there's going to be a sock we want to get. And then we're going to want to stay on the top of those red buildings as well. It's on the top of that second one. Like there I missed it, but it's fine. I'll just have to go down and get it again. Which there are different backup socks you can do, but in that case I just played poorly. But yeah, then for this, it's the same. Just you can play it a lot less safe because there's no run destroying Chuck and no edge to be worried about. So yeah, right here, I'll just go back and get that sock, and then meet you back next to Bubble Buddy. So we're chilling next to Bubble Buddy, and we're ready to continue on our escapade. So the last place we're gonna go is Guppy Mound. We're gonna get all 3 socks. Now this is, as far as I know, still identical. Actually, I don't know if they do this 80% anymore. But I guess like no SBA. It's identical how you do that. Or whatever they're calling whatever they're calling an SBA nowadays.
There's nothing like the smell of bubbles in the morning. Smells like...
So at this point we don't really need to get more shinies, it's just kind of doing it for the fun of it. So disregard anything I do in terms of shiny collection. There are absolutely no more clams we have to open, or any of that kind of stuff. So at this point in the run, this is when I finally get top of the chum bucket. So we're going to warp all the way up to top of the shoals. And hitting this button. And again, we're going to be SpongeBob storaging all the way up to where we got that piece of golden underwear earlier. And from here, we're just gonna roll out, get a bounce, and jump onto the handle. Now, you don't really need this extra piece of health. I just like to get it for the sake, like, peace of mind. But it's not really a thing you do need to get. Once we get Mr. Krabs, we can head into Infestation. And so the route here is just, you know, much the same, just we can't spin.
Just met a Sponginator. I feel like I should be working.
Alright, and once we kill all those, we can just warp out, and Mr. Krabs will force us into his loving arms. As crabs do, of course. So, heading out of here, we are going to go around the Krusty Krab, make sure to get this sock. And, oh, look at that, 62. We can head right into Dutchman, 60 count. So, Dutchman's, due to our certain limitations, we can only get 3 spatulas. But we do also get 2 socks. So it's not all bad. It's a lot better than Jellyfish Fields, which is all I can ask for. So the route we do here is half casual, half not. We're of course first going to hit these buttons. And wall jump up here. Knock this guy out. So we're going to make sure to go forward enough to activate this checkpoint. And then we're going to climb back on this piece of wood and jump onto the boat and jump over here. From here, we want the chuck to shoot at us. And then we want the oil to shoot at us over here. Once the oil shoots at us, we can climb up this pole and have our back face the sock. So that when the chuck hits us, we can get the sock and die and respawn at the checkpoint. From here, we can do everything we just did again, except instead of waiting for the chuck to hit us, we can just wipe them out and set up for getting to the other side. Since this is a platformer, we don't want to solve no puzzles. So we're going to stand here and wait for the oil guy to shoot us. When he does, we can jump and slam. Kind of messed it up though. And then just jump, which will let us get over to these rocks. Then from here we can just scale them up and get the ledge grab and run over and get the spatula. So in Sea of Ships, we're going to be getting the first sock right behind us in the beginning. which we're going to line up by double jump and then slamming for that extra distance. So you'll see the sock is that little bit of glow right there under the ship. So I'm going to make sure to line up with that. And then the slam will give us a little extra distance to help with it. It's not required, it's just for a little bit of helpfulness. And then at this point we can drop down for the spatula. And warp up to Shipwreck Bungee. From here we're just going to get top of the stack of ships, and then we will be out of Dutchman. Because there are 2 buttons that we need to spin to hit that we just simply can't do. We can almost get the spatula at the top of the ships in the ship area, but it's barely not possible, which is a shame. So from here, we're going to be warping to top of the chum bucket and heading to our last level of the game, Kelp Forest, which is very fun that we get to do it as the last level, just because normally you see it as the second to last. But we do it here as last just because we have to get top of the chum bucket to warp to it. So it's just helpful in that regard. So, of course, we, as much as a lot of other people, aren't the biggest fans of
In the kelp forest, an interesting area with
doing Kelp Forest forward. So we're going to do it backwards. So how we're going to be doing that without spin or cruise boost is we're going to do 2 full jumps over to this area of the wall, which will take a little bit, or it won't at all if you're a master. But I'm not a master. And once we're up there, we'll get our jumps back. And we just need to keep on doing our double jumps so that we can get on top of the seam of Kelp Forest. So what's at least good about this jump is that the tikis don't like move up and down, so it's not based on that. There we go. So once we get up here, we can just keep on double jumping and double jump onto the seam. Once you see these particles start moving toward the stage instead of behind it, we can actually jump on those. And then from here, we can jump to a higher ledge over here. We're going to keep walking till we're around where this grass starts. Then we're going to be walking toward this way and double jumping. Assuming you do it correctly, you can actually get over to the other side, but I sadly messed it up. So I will be back once I'm up there, I suppose, unless I get this right now. Oh. Okay. It's like I run the category or something. Ooh. But yeah, you can go then further. You just can't go further than these 2 because that's what dictates where it is. Okay, and then once you're up here, you can... Oh no! I fell off a bit early. Once you're up there, you can just stay near the seam and walk over to the gate, which I'll be back once I'm at that gate. Alright, so now we're up here. Just make sure to stay closer to the seam like I wasn't, and it's just a clear fall down. Once we're here, we can just yoink this spatula and do the Mermaid Man time challenge, which is nothing too hard. So from here, we'll just go under the slide, and then we can double jump near the slide, and it'll do the challenge, and ledge grab back on. And we can just walk our way back down. If you want, you can change your character to Patrick here, but I usually change it after caves. But it is an option in case you prefer it. But speaking of which, we're going to head into caves and grab the cave spatula. And rewarp to caves. From here, we are going to take a quick detour to grab a sock, which we'll be doing by running over to this box, jumping on this rock, jumping on this anglerfish lamp, and jumping over here. Should give us our final sock count of 40. Then from here, we can just grab the spatula. And if you didn't already change into Patrick, this is where we change into him. And we are going to be jumping over to this leaf. And jumping all the way down to this button. So this button activates down in the swamp, which is the cage spatula. And so we're going to be throwing that ice cube in the water and... throwing that ice cube in the goo and doing it casually. So from here, we'll reload Tiki Roundup, which is the spatula we got when entering this area. It might be favorable to just die and walk up if you're not on Xbox, since loads are kind of long on GameCube and PS2, especially the latter. Just head back to this entrance where we can get our final level spatula of the run. And then from here, we want to warp to Patrick so we can hand in all of our socks. Now, of course, if there are some socks you don't want to do, there are many that you can use as replacements. Of course, there's Kona sock, which is just right here when you warp back. There were some socks in Kelp entrance area that you could have gotten. But of course, it's all just going to depend on what socks you don't want. But what's great about the sock route is that it's flexible enough to the point where if you want to trade out any sock for like any sock that you could get, because we do this all at the end, you can do it. But after trading in all the socks, we go to a wall jump in the bucket. And we start our final boss, which is a little weird, but it's not too awful. Definitely the hardest part is in the second level, but the first phase isn't too bad. So with Robo Sponge, immediately we're going to want to jump and slam and hope to hit the button. Oh, and we're going to try to do that on the second hand too, but if we don't get it for either of the hands, we can just bowl the little bulge, which we can do on both sides. So when he's down, Plankton will attack us if we go down here. When he stops shooting, you want to charge a bowl so you can hit him with it. Since we don't have the cruise bubble, this is the easiest way for us to hit him. And we need to hit him to continue the attacking phase. You're going to have to move a little bit to predict it, but, you know. Then from here, we just do the classic coin flip, jumping when that's going up, which lets us continue on into the final level. So from here, we're going to be hitting this Duplicatotron, which the hammer bot over there will hit us first, but if he didn't spawn, then that Duplicatotron would hit us all the way down here, where we can hit this fuse and go up to the last 3 fuses of Robo SpongeBob. We're going to be going to the second fuse immediately for a trick. This is called the Bowl Extended Jump, and this line right here is generally what you want to use as a visual, the one that I'm standing parallel to, or on. And we're going to, right when you walk past that, you're going to want to fully charge a bowl. Or no, you're not going to want to fully charge a bowl, but you're going to want to hold forward and press the bowl button so that you launch forward and it lets go of it. And after that, you want to go slightly off the edge so you still get your double jumps. So let me see if I can just get that right now to show. So that was not yet. Like, the line can be used as a loose visual cue, but it's very hard to bowl off if you use it. Well, it's very hard to, like, accidentally bowl off. Nope. So there, I was just a little late on my jump. But yeah, that's essentially what you're going to do to break those fuses. We're going to be doing a bit of a scuffed brain surgery.
Will SpongeBob be able to
But
neutralize
although
the
it's
giant
scuffed,
robot
it's
brain?
kind of our only way without a cruise bubble or a B button.
Ooh, close encounters of the
So for this, I
painful
won't
kind.
pause while trying to do it, just because using that as a visual is just something to learn. And also with brain surgery, there are different things that you have to, like, you have to do the fuse in a specific order, of course, but yeah. Yeah. Nope, not quite. So I'll just be back up when I'm at that platform. And we're back. So let's do this. There we go. Getting the double jump out of it, we can stand on this TV. We're going to be jumping on this, which gives us another jump, and jumping near this, which will also give us... We're not going to get the fuse in there yet, though. First fuse we're going to get is actually the first one the game wanted us to get. So we do this in normal order, technically, but it's a little weird. So going in here, we're just going to bash or slam the fuse. If you really want to, you can get like a weird bowl, but I've never tried to get a bowl on it. Then you're just going to hold forward, jumping out of there, which will let us clip up to here. Going back, we want to get that fuse, but there's no clip we can get, so we need to get it from a range. So there are going to be these two lines I'm going to aim at in the distance. Let me see if I can... If I have a picture of like an arrow on my computer or something. So I can point at them. Do I have an... Okay, arrow.png. Be my savior. Here we are. There's an arrow, dudes. Okay. So the two lines we're going to try to aim at is this one or this one. What? No, wait. No, yeah, pardon me. We're going to try to be aiming at this line right here and this. So either one of these two where it converges. Those two lines will give us the bounce that we need for the bowl to hit the fuse. We're going to do it with full charge. And so I'll definitely say this is going to be the one that takes the longest, just because it relies on a somewhat precise bowl. Just to give you a picture of what the fuse looks like in the hole, if it helps. It's like in the center down there. So that's why we have to use such a strange and precise position to aim. So we get that bounce. Someone's dogs are not too happy that I'm not getting this. So yeah, that's not working for me right now. I'll try to aim for the other one. There's that. So from here, we're going to be heading to our last fuse. Now this one is kind of scary, but just bear with me here. So you're going to go on this TV, and you're going to see that blue wire down there. You're going to want to hug that wire. So hugging that wire will give you your jumps. And continuing to hug it will put us down right near the third area. So just falling down and jumping will put us into that third fuse. It's very, very scary when you're first learning it, but you get more and more used to it since that wire has so many places to give you back your jumps. Then destroying this last fuse just finishes it off. And with that, you've beaten SpongeBob SquarePants Battle for Bikini Bottom without ever using the bubble spin or any actions assigned to the bubble spin, which is pretty cool. So of course there are going to be slight differences where like Xbox can't access the options technically. GameCube can't press B to close the pause menu. They have to use start and stuff like that. Or GameCube can't close text boxes with B. They have to mash A. But other than that, like, this is a general guide that you can use on all versions, all console versions of Battle for Bikini Bottom. If you have any questions, my Discord tag is actual Chatterteeth number 7658. And I'm in a bunch of different SpongeBob community servers if you need to find me. But yeah. Hopefully this helped with different routes or tricks that you need to start your 0x or B or triangle, 0x or B or just square journey. And yeah, peace out.